Welcome to Screen Time Continuing. My name is The Mustard, and I am, what do you call it? I'm here with Nick and Kalen. How you guys doing?
On? Hey, happy Sunday, man. I'm good. How are you?
I'm decent. I'm stuttering over my words before we even get started. How you doing, Kalen?
I'm doing pretty good. I am not gonna stutter over my words as of yet, but I may have a little of that later on. I understand.
No worries. I'll probably help that for you.
For sure.
All right. So
happy Sunday, by the way.
Yes.
I was actually like, man, is it Wednesday? Oh no, it's Sunday.
No, we can't say it's Odin's Day, or we can't say it's I don't know what else day it is. Hump Day. There we go.
Well, we could. No, I'm not gonna go there. I'm not.
It is.
There was an album that released
today.
It is
Sunday, so it is Superman Day.
Oh, well, yeah, I can remember.
I don't know that reference whatsoever.
Of course,
no, we just created it. Well, and I'll break it down for you. So Nick said it, and I'll break it down so you guys know it's real. He gets his powers from the yellow sun. That's what.
Okay. We'll get into the Superman lore. So everybody, tonight we are doing All-Star Superman. It is an adaptation of a very well-known graphic novel created by the fabulous Grant Morrison. So he's known for quite a bit of good stuff within the DC comic books and within Marvel. And I cannot tell you off the top of my tongue of everything he's really behind, but the ones that really stuck out for me has been All-Star Superman and his run on, I think it was the Uncanny X-Men.
And that's Uncanny X-Men? Okay, the cartoon series.
Not the cartoon series. I could be wrong. I would have to check those. Type in Grant Morrison, the X-Men, but I'll do that.
The new X-Men.
New X-Men. Mm-hmm. So, he's behind a couple of characters. If people are listening, characters like Quentin, basically Kid Omega, and a couple other things. So off the top of my head, it doesn't come quite there. But these are the two books, All-Star Superman and his run on New X-Men are things I've read along with Action Comics and a New 52 of DC when they rebooted their whole universe and shit. It was pretty good. So anyways, this animated movie is an adaptation of that. Now, I'll tell you this. I'm not a big fan of Superman. I think he's more of a Boy Scout than Captain America, in my opinion, if you want to make the two comparisons. I think he's overpowered, as most DC characters are. And beyond that, I would say this movie is okay in my opinion, but it doesn't meet up to the hype and the greatness what the graphic novel was, because they left quite a bit out. So if people haven't seen it or haven't read the book, the scenario on this is basically Superman is dying, and he is tasked with to do extraordinary things before his death, or just take care of everything off his bucket list. So I picked this for the simple reason of not being a Superman fan, but I enjoyed it for the simple reason that it adds some different perspective on Superman in some shapes and forms of him being human, or what we can see ourselves of being human, or even just doing the right thing. And that's it. I want to hear you guys' take on it.
For sure. I guess I could take the lead on this one. I'll definitely jump out front and give mine first. So the All-Star Superman, I can't say I didn't like it. I want to open with that. But I will say that this movie, from the beginning to end, is the embodiment of the song, "What If God Was One of Us?" And just being straight, my wife has this thing with that particular song where if God were one of us, we would cut him off in traffic and yell out "F you." Like, we wouldn't care and that is Clark Kent to me. So this movie hit a lot of that for me just off the bat, and even threw Lex Luthor into that same mix of like, oh, this is what God would be if he was one of us. He would be, Superman. And I'll start with that. So I didn't dislike the movie, but in essence, this movie is the embodiment of that song. What if God was one of us? And they executed it. They executed it.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it for what it was worth. It's only an hour and 15 minutes long. And this is
as long as it wasn't 2 hours.
Right. Yeah. As long as it wasn't 2 hours. And this comes from a 12-issue series run. So you got to imagine if you were going to adapt a 12-issue series run, that's got to be at least 4 hours, 4 to 5 hours of actual storytelling in there. So for what it's worth, it's a condensed version of what the 12-issue run would be. I'm actually more interested in reading the run now that I've seen this. Because I think it'd be an interesting story. I like the concept. I don't like Superman either. I think that it's just boring when your character can do everything, and like it's and then him as Clark Kent is so frustrating too, because it's like, come on. I know that it's like the meme that like nobody knows that he's Superman, but there's no real reason that nobody should know he's Superman. Like,
or that even as Clark Kent, he's that much of a bumbling fool,
right? And then even in this movie, Lois Lane is still not convinced that it's Clark Kent. Like
that was the annoying part for me as well. Yeah. And I think it's funny because it's just like, how can you not tell? But just the whole persona, the whole thing of him just split into two was actually interesting. I'm like, yeah, it's kind of convincing. I mean, even as smart as Luther's supposed to be, he was just like, still couldn't figure it out even at the very end.
Yeah.
Right. Even as he's freezing people right in front of him and saving his life. And I want to add to that really quick. Yeah, I always dislike that Clark Kent is so like Clark Kent. I don't care if he's that's what it is. I'm sorry, I have to find the correct words. Clark Kent is what Superman thinks a human being is, like a total fucking idiot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and also with me dropping the first F-bomb of this episode, I want to also say this being rated PG with a couple of the innuendos and suggestions in it was off-putting as well. Because at first I was like, wow, did this come out like in the 90s or something? Because that's a PG rating, and that was pretty suggestive right there. That little statement or that comment.
It's like revisiting old Disney movies, or even going back to watching Shrek. Like,
definitely.
Oh,
like, oh, we could do that at one point, huh? But then even first off, it lets you know what Superman thinks of humans. Like, he thinks we're all stupid idiots that stumble and bumble and fumble over each other. And it's like, no, we just don't have super senses. And then, yes, Lois Lane, like, wow, Lois. Wow. Like, talk about total disregard for somebody who literally fawns over you all day, every day. All day, every day. And you just pay him no mind.
Yeah, I mean, Superman's kind of a hard character to relate to because he's the perfectness of everything. Mm-hmm. I mean, like, in this movie alone, they couldn't resist but create more powers for him. Like he got new powers in this 1 hour on top of all of the things that he's done before. And he has some sort of cosmic forge that he can create suns with.
I was waiting to get to all of those. These are some of those factors where I was really like, okay, wait. So he can forge a whole sun, which means he can forge a whole solar system.
Mm-hmm.
That's in existence. But then he has this Kryptonian city in a tube or whatever the hell, and you've had them there for years, and you wait. First off, I want to say that now. You wait till now to take them to a civilization. Oh, great timing. Great timing.
Well, the thing is with all of that, all it is tribute to things of like people that are sincerely fans of Superman. Or even if you was to sit, I used to back in the day when I was a kid, and what is that, Channel 5, not KTLA, but KW, whatever it was called, with the fucking singing frog and everything. I used to sit there. Nah, it's the CW.
Well, it used to be.
Yeah, KTLA,
Yeah.
the WB.
Channel 5, WB, KTLA, all the same.
You know,
So,
had an offshoot channel named UPN, but they would never admit that.
Okay. No. So watching the animated series, you know, you got nothing else to watch if you're sitting there waiting for Pokemon or fucking Yu-Gi-Oh to come on. Superman was one of those things I would sit there and watch. And, you know, these were little offbeat things from people who would watch this animated series to the cartoon. So this is where I mean that I really do prefer the novel straight up, graphic novel straight up, than this movie. And the thing is, there's a lot of things that is left out. And you were saying that he's just waiting to do this all of a sudden, to take them and put them in an environment for themselves. If you would sit there and catch it, one, I don't think he knew he was going to be getting killed off or dying. And two, he was sitting there trying to figure out how to, you know, expand a city and bring them back to normal size and bring them people back the way they needed to be back.
I'm with you, and I did gather or ascertain that. My thing is this. So, okay, even when you get to the end of, you know, fruition of, oh, this is how he sees the world and what makes him so humble, essentially, I'm thinking, like, again, I feel like this entire movie just leads up to, what if God was one of us? And like, oh, well, why would he preserve us if a God were walking this earth? Like, oh, this is how he sees the world, yada, yada, yada. All of that was thrusted at us. While there were a lot of other things that were glossed over. With him having all of this, Superman having all these powers, so he just now got the super intellect. Where was he going to have the intellect to do all of that for the city? The super intellect came after his powers grew.
Mm-hmm. So he's always been super smart.
They say that, but did he just have more time and ability?
Superman's power is that he has a power for any situation he's in.
That's what I'm looking. That's what I'm figuring.
Kind of what his power is. And I actually don't mind that, to be honest, because my favorite parts of Superman is when he's doing things like lifting, 400 quintillion tons, like we saw in the thing. Like, that's the stuff I want to see. If you're going to be Superman, I want to see you push yourself to the limits of, like, let's see where your power threshold is. Because that's what's interesting to me. And I'm a little bit sad that we didn't get more of that, because I would have liked to see that.
Really quick, I don't mean to cut you off, but I can fully say that the Superman where we saw in this will get his ass kicked by Goku.
For now, yeah.
Based on what we saw. I said based on what we saw, not based on what he is, based on what we saw.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
They did a super fight of this on YouTube already, and Goku does win.
Goku definitely wins because of what they showed, not because of what Superman is, what we know he's capable of, because of the comic books.
You guys gotta watch
Exoforce skeleton thing.
No, you guys gotta watch the death battles, because they break it down particularly, and he's gotten his ass whipped by Superman each time. Once again, I'm all up for Goku.
I saw the one where Goku won though.
Check it out.
I'm sure they've done it multiple times. I couldn't even argue that. I'm sure
they did it twice. He did it with his dyed hair blue, his God form, what they call it. Then they also did it with him just doing a whole regular Super Saiyan thing.
So that means that Superman's power really is adaptation.
Not really. The dude is just fucking OP'd. I mean, I really can't explain it without going into like a Wikipedia page or really diving into some fucking Superman lore. But the dude is just fucking OP.
Well, I think he got a lot of his powers just from the writers saying, like, hey, what position can we put Superman in? And then what power would he need to get out of it? And then over the years, since he's been around for so long, he's just amassed like hundreds of powers.
Right.
Exactly.
I mean, consider in this one, he could push that ship away from the sun, no question. He's able to extend his
bioelectricity.
Bioelectric force to carry the ship with him. And he's doing it unconscious. He didn't even know he was doing it because he was definitely headed in to push it like normal. Like, that's what, like, I get that's what Nick's saying, but that's what I mean when I'm like, the Superman we saw in this, like, yeah, he has superpowers. He was super strong, but was he letting himself get his ass kicked by Lex? Like, we didn't see a Superman in this one. What we saw was the embodiment of a Superman, like the potential but
I think it's also
basically
hard
Cornel West would
because
have caved.
right, but I think it's also hard because we've seen Invincible. And
That's
we
true.
saw what type of battle that looked like.
That's
because
true.
that's what
Oh,
I
of
was
course.
thinking a little bit.
That's what
and
I thought
was
was
like,
going to be.
yeah,
But-
I thought, yeah.
But the thing is with Superman, which Superman's like Spider-Man in a sense, and Spider-Man is more stronger than he let off.
Mhm.
And I say that because there was an arc where Spider-Man ends up swapping minds with Doc Ock, and Doc Ock is in his body, and he ends up fighting Scorpion.
Right. He has no
he's-
restraint.
No restraint. He socks Scorpion, and he literally fucking knocks his jaw off.
Mhm.
And Octavius is sitting there looking at his hand. He was like,
He didn't know.
God damn. He's like, all these years he's been restraining his strength.
Yeah. Well, he
So-
knocked Doc Ock brain dead
Right.
in one storyline just
Like
by
there-
hitting him, just by not pulling his punch.
And you have to think that Spider-Man or Peter Parker is that not just because he's a kid, but he was taught restraint, period. He was literally taught restraint before having the abilities.
And it's all due to Uncle Ben. And it's the same thing with Superman, Kent, Pa Kent.
Kind of thing can. Yeah.
And it's teaching them, and it's basically the same routine. With great power comes great responsibility. But you also have this whole concept of someone that's not of this planet and really just wants to fit in and try to understand the human race and be part of it. So this dude he's basically Mr. Perfect. And him trying to just go out and kill Luthor, that'd have been great. But in a sense, it's just like, no, he's trying to teach or enlighten Luthor on something.
Yeah. Humbug.
I would have been to Luthor a long time ago. But
I like Lex Luthor more than I like Superman, if we're being honest.
well, that's the thing. He
I
comes
always
from
have.
it's one, and then this is great because you kind of get to see trying to understand him, and it's great seeing at the end of it all, like he could have been doing so much more than just trying to kill something. And yeah, I can understand why you want to kill something, because just like Batman, you never know when something like this with too much power can snap.
Right. Okay. Let's be honest about Lex Luthor. He's a psychopath. Like, I do dislike, I somewhat dislike when they don't leave that part in the storyline. Like, no. He is such a genius that he actually drives himself crazy. But there is a necessity for a Lex Luthor. And I think the beginning of the movie, that Lex Luthor, the schemer, the guy who is really just, he has a goal, right? That is what someone who has his level of intellect, they get fixated on something. It's not so much, in my opinion, about him not utilizing the maximum capabilities that he has as far as his brain is concerned, but he's fixated on, he's obsessed, not even fit, he's obsessed with taking out Superman for the simple fact that he wants to do all the things that Superman is doing.
I'll tell you this. Speaking of that, there's another book written by Mark Millar, guy from Kick-Ass and Old Man Logan and shit like Super Crooks, and just now the one that just bombed on Netflix, which was called Jupiter's Legacy. He wrote a storyline called Red Sun. I read the book, didn't like it. I didn't like it. I liked it up until I got to the end. And the whole concept of that book is that what happened if Superman did not land in, I forgot where was it, not Kentucky, but Kansas. What happened if he didn't do that? He ended up crash landing in Russia and becomes part of the Soviet Union and communism, et cetera, et cetera. Now, in this storyline, you get to see that mad Luthor. You get to see Luthor when he had hair. And he spends so much time obsessing, working for the United States to take this guy out. He becomes the Lex Luthor he is. And you get to see that, which is interesting. But I haven't seen that animated series. It's probably better than the book it might be better than the book. It might be vice versa versus this. But for future viewings, possibly.
But now I have a question. You're Superman. You find out you're dying, which again, reasons I like Lex Luthor. Like, you're so damn smart, you thought that shit up. Like, really, you poisoned him with the sun, which is genius. It's genius. You're literally just overloading his cells. And that's basically thinking of him as not an organic person or an organic being, but just thinking of him as a being that is more like a machine. If we think about it, Superman's body works more like a machine. He gets a certain amount of power, and then he can distribute it to the things that he needs to use it for. What I thought was something they needed to, that was very great to touch on. If you're Superman, you find out you're dying. Are you telling Hood Rat Lois Lane? Because this Lois Lane is a hood rat. Let's just be real. This Lois Lane ain't shit.
I don't like her.
She's straight trash. She's the chick that you tell your boys, nah.
And then you give her a serum to have superpowers. Why is Superman making a Superman serum?
That's exactly what I'm getting at. What are you telling Lois Lane? And more importantly, for her birthday, are you making her a serum so she can see the world through your eyes? Because she's not a good person, bro. Lex is a good person.
Maybe he did that because she needed to be strong enough to withstand him if they banged.
Well, you know that happened.
Maybe.
That definitely happened in that 24 hours, so you are correct.
So there you go.
Yep, there you
that
go.
Superman's
a perv.
Why do you think her body was aching?
Oh yeah, that's right. She was dancing all night.
She definitely said that. Oh wow. See what I'm saying? Rated PG.
I didn't too much care for her. I'm like, yo, birthday and not, you get these Tweedledee and Dumb coming through here and you flirting with them? Damn, okay.
Well, we'll talk about those two in a minute. What's Jimmy? Also, what's up with Jimmy in the dress? Were you working undercover, Jimmy? No. Why do you ask? Excuse me.
You know what? That thing with Jimmy Olsen is just back and forth. It's things what the writers want to make him a cross-dresser, gay, bi, whatever, transgender. It's a thing they've been going back and forth with, and they just really implemented in this this movie and the graphic novel.
I mean, but they can't even really do it. They do it like they try to do it like on the back end. So it's like, come on, if you guys are going to just make him a crossdresser, if that's what you want to do.
That's what I'm about to say. Just make characters that are human. They don't have to change every series or every time you get a new writer. They don't have to change gender specificity, and hell, they don't even have to change job titles. Just write a fucking storyline, man.
Well, I think you and a lot of people in the comic book community will definitely agree. I hear it so much, and we see it a lot with the movies and the TV series. And you know what? I'll be honest, and I feel the same way with Taskmaster in the Black Widow movie. I didn't care if Taskmaster was a female, but now if you had the characteristics of what made Taskmasters, I would not give a rat's ass.
Yeah, they murdered the character.
Yeah.
But in this sense, it was the same thing, like going back to the last Fantastic Four remake. Do we really need a black Johnny Storm? At least make sense of it.
I didn't know that was still a conversation, that we have to have a black Johnny Storm. Can we just have a good actor?
But the thing is, now, can we have a black Superman? Yeah, we can, because guess what? Yeah. We've already had black Superman.
And it's going to be the same actor as Johnny Storm.
Right. That's the problem, though. But that's the actual problem. It's like, all right, now let's give a couple of people a shot. But
yeah, maybe not just one guy.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
Killmonger's already got a job.
Yeah.
And that was the thing. And that was the problem with that movie, because the thing is, we've had Puerto Rican variations of Johnny Storm and Susan Storm. We've had black Reed Richards and black Johnny Storm and Susan Storm. It's just go all the way. Stop trying to play this bullshit.
But also the biggest thing too is like lift the characters up that are already black and not white. You know what I mean? Like there's so many great characters that you guys could be like creating new worlds about and bringing interesting people into the stories, but they have to keep like rehashing the same old stories,
because then they have to be creative and create something.
Exactly.
And this is the issue a lot of people in the comic book fans they deal with. Just like, why do that? A lot of people argue won't you just create a new character catering to that? And the thing is, one of the biggest things was, and this is an argument that still goes today, Iceman. Iceman a couple years ago they turned him from straight to gay. And there was this instance where Jean Grey is reading his mind, and she's like, "Oh, you're gay. Just be straightforward with it." And a lot of people was like, she fucking mind raped him to say that he was gay.
Oh wow.
Right. That's gonna make the whole Rogue thing a little bit weird in the X-Men movies, I guess.
That's crazy.
And that's the problem, where like, why are you making a character that was completely straight gay?
Right.
Because you're trying to
get better with Rogue.
Yeah.
We know that. Like, that's not a secret. That's part of the comics.
Yes.
No, and especially, let's say, if this character had hints of having bi tendencies, why not?
Like,
well, it's really what it is the movie studios are too afraid to take a risk. And so what they do is say, hey, we know that this property and franchise works. Let's just rework it so that it's somebody different. And then we can use them as a little meat puppet and make our money back. You know what I mean? So it's like,
and there's characters that they can use to hit certain avenues without really changing the basis of who they are. Like, just bringing up Rogue right now made me think I can think of Rogue could be a transgender. Rogue could be someone who is dual gender assigned at birth. Rogue could be a lot just based on her abilities. Just based on her abilities.
But does it have to be like, why can't like I think the conversation is right, like, let's just have those characters, because they're constantly writing new characters. They're constantly coming up with new stories and new ideas. Like, leave the ones that have already been done and create new stuff. Just be creative. And
I agree with that. And what I'm saying about Rogue is because of the lack of specificity in who Rogue has always been. Like, there is something there if they wanted to take someone who already exists.
I guess, but that's like J.K. Rowling saying that everybody's gay in Harry Potter. Retrospectively,
basically, that's what they
did what
they fucking did to Dumbledore.
I mean, but she did do that, and then she said that Hermione was black. I mean, come on, talk about pandering. Pandering.
Only way I can say you can get away with it now is if you're gonna do a multiverse. That's the only way you can get away with it right now.
Harry Potter multiverse.
Mr. Potter can be, 8% black.
If Hermione was black, then why did she allow Hermione to be a white girl that whole time?
Hey, she could be Jewish too.
Yeah, it could have been, maybe.
I don't even know what to say to that.
I know,
but it's there, and you know what? There's only either make a new character, and if not make a new character, let's say you're going to pass on a torch. You got Hawkeye. Hawkeye is not a woman, but you're going to pass on the torch to Kate Bishop.
Yeah. Right.
Or as they did with Iron Man, they passed down to Iron Lad. If not Iron Lad, they did Ironheart with Riri Williams. Now we might get to see. Same thing with the whole title of when Captain Marvel took over the title, Miss Marvel took over the title of Captain Marvel. Miss Marvel was passed on to a Pakistani girl. So we can do that, but hey, I don't care. I love Miles Morales.
Yeah, I do. I don't think there's any issue with that. I think what it is, though, too, and this is one of the issues I think we even see in the current Spider-Man. They don't have any faith in Tom Holland being in a movie by himself. And so because they don't think it's marketable. And so that's the way I think they see all of these characters that could potentially be. Like, you could have an Ironheart movie separate from Iron Man. You don't even have to have them associated with each other, to be honest. You could just have a little girl that's really good at robotics. Like, why isn't that a thing? You know what I mean? Like, but they have to attach it to something that's established, because the studios then say, well, we know this will make money now. Right. But it's not even that true most of the time. I'll
tell you this about Disney right now, especially with Marvel. The situation with Tom Holland, before Sony made that deal with Disney, Sony put in their clause, and this was all kind of because of the falling out. I mean, they were supposed to do Amazing Spider-Man 3 and a Sinister Six side story, but it wasn't about box office numbers. It was more of issues with Andrew Garfield, because Andrew Garfield thought, why not make Spider-Man gay? Or he was just hypothetically talking about it. And Sony was like, no. Then it was just falling out with a bunch of other things. But interesting enough, in a deal in the clause that was made with Sony, as Sony had pitched to Disney if they were going to use the character, they literally said he has to be a white Caucasian and he's supposed to be heterosexual.
Yeah, because the Japanese don't mess around with their IPs. They don't like that.
So they're like, we're not doing a whole Miles Morales thing, no. And we don't have faith in that yet until now. You do an animated series, thing, and they did it. And I'm trying to remember. And the other thing you saying about have to have other superheroes in the movies with them, I think Marvel / Disney learned a lesson with previous movies, and the big experiment we had was Thor Ragnarok, and they figured characters they think they can't stand on their own, or the shit is just too dull, they need to spice it up.
Right.
And
you mean like Loki?
Yeah.
But they didn't even have any characters in Loki.
they played the game of the variants.
Yeah,
right,
Loki was
Loki was the character.
Loki and Kang.
But it's crazy to think that you can't have a solo Spider-Man film that doesn't have to attach itself to, Iron Man or, whatever. Doctor Strange now. It's like.
But that's kind of what I get from, kind of segue back, but that's what I get from Superman. I've never seen a Superman storyline without a Lex Luthor, which is why I like Lex Born. I like Superman, and I personally would like a Lex Luthor comic book. Like, I'm actually hoping things like this movie, in my opinion, was highlighting the potential of Lex Luthor. And trust me, it has, because over the years he's had his own book. He's also became part of the Justice League. He's also became president. Yeah, I mean, I didn't know he had his own book, but I remember him becoming president in different issues. But they're always, from what I've seen, Superman issues. I've never seen a Lex Luthor emboldened headline. I could be wrong. I haven't read every single comic book, out there, or seen every headline or title, or story cover art. But for me, I just haven't seen it, and I feel like that would sell more. Like we're saying, those characters that currently exist that can go a lot further. We don't have to get 30 variations of an OP character that we already know what's. At the end of the day, he wins. He fucking died, and he still won, huh?
I think there's a real creativity problem going on right now.
I'm just letting you guys know, he didn't die. He never died.
Of course he didn't die.
He's pure energy, so he
became the sun.
Working the sun.
Yeah. But I'll tell you this, which was not iterated in this movie. If you guys can remember back in the Fortress of Solitude, he was showing Lois. He was like, "Yeah, I can talk to my distant ancestors." Mm-hmm. So when she's like, "Well, that looks like my father," she's gonna have this baby, thanks to all the paperwork and the verse engineering that Lex left. I forgot what that scientist guy. He was like, "You're just gonna need a very healthy, fertile woman." Yeah, it's gonna be her, and it's gonna be her. And the thing is, what they didn't show in that book. I mean, what they did show in the book is there's a bit where he actually comes to terms with a bunch of other Supermen of, distant time periods that come to take care of certain business, the Council of Supermen. And there is one Superman that is as pure as gold. And that was Superman. He ends up becoming Superman Prime. And he comes from literally after coming out from fixing the sun to make sure it stays the sun. So, yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, we all know it's not Death of Superman or anything.
Right.
So
Yeah.
It's never the death of Superman.
Yeah.
I must say, even the Death of Superman, he came back alive, right. Like literally the first 20 minutes of the movie.
Right.
So, yeah. But that's to me, again, that's kind of just the whole rundown. So let's get to Hoodie Hood Rat and Atlas and Samson.
Oh, but I'll tell you this before we move on. Just to answer that question about if we'll ever see solo movies. We can get solo movies, solo things. It all depends on supporting actors or supporting characters.
Yeah, I think so too. But I think that there's a lack of creativity and a lack of risk taking right
Well,
now.
that's the problem. They got the source material, plenty of source material they can play with, but
Yeah, but even outside of comic book movies, there's no creativity going on right now. That like
no.
everything is being played safe. Everything's a reboot. We're going to retread old properties that we know will make us money. Nobody wants to take a risk right now, and I think that that's really kind of a hard thing to deal with. I mean, especially somebody who loves movies. I haven't seen a movie that's original in years, dude. It's
If
been
not,
years.
they're really hard to come by, and
Yeah.
they get shitted on.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah, because some original movies just aren't good. I think we've seen a few original movies, but they weren't good original movies.
Yeah. But I think we've also said like, hey, kudos for actually being an original story.
Yes.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead. I mean, I don't too much care for his work, but hey, it's cool. It was the same thing with Freaky. I was like, these are things that have been done before, but it's kind of being done a little bit different and a little bit unique.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm topping my hat off to it. Is it perfect? No, but it's there. But everything else, fuck, man.
Hey, look, I know we're talking about things that are new, but for some reason it made me think I'll take a new adaptation of Dracula.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, Universal did try to do that spooky movie universe. So.
They called it the Dark Verse.
Oh, the Dark Verse. Yeah.
Whatever his name, Tom Cruise fucked that up.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise in a spooky movie?
He was in The Mummy.
The Mummy, man.
Yeah. And then I think he tried to take like a percentage of the entire Dark Verse or something, and they were like, "You know what? Never mind. We don't want. We don't want to do this."
No, he took over the Mummy movie. It was a new director. He fucking completely took over the project, and it just
it wasn't good.
No, and then Universal was like, you know what? Fuck this.
Yeah, it's funny because they could have totally brought League of Extraordinary Gentlemen back,
and
if they had done the Dark Verse.
And Russell Crowe was in that movie as Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Right.
I'm gonna say, and wouldn't you be able to do like Constantine and all of that?
That's and then like the Invisible Man.
Constantine is DC.
Yeah, Constantine.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
we got the Keanu Reeves fucked up movie.
Yeah, I forgot about that one.
With Shia LaBeouf. Best part of that movie, him dying.
Yeah. Hey, the guy that played Satan was really good. I liked him.
That movie had potential.
It did.
I remember the movie. I didn't think about it at first, but I do remember it. I don't remember it being so great. You guys made it. You guys made it.
It's decent.
Yeah, I must say you guys may remember it as better than I remember it just now, and I'm like, maybe I have to take a minute to remember it. But really quick, so in this movie, the All-Star Superman, I also noticed that every single villain was just a different adaptation of Superman.
Yeah, and this is where I said this is where like people are like, well, I prefer the book over the movie. I sincerely do. And the thing is, you get to see the trials he goes through before his death. Like he actually takes Bizarro and places Bizarro where he needs to be, like in Bizarro world, where you get to see like, I'm not going to say this like this, but you get to see, I want to say a word, but I'm not going to say that word, but you get to see Bizarro Flash, Bizarro Green Lantern. You get to see all it. Like, it's a cool concept. You think there's just not Bizarro fucking Superman, but you get to see a whole world of like all these superheroes and people in Bizarro world. You get to see some interesting shit, and you get to see a lot of other things. But yeah, it could have went better. I mean, but like Nick said, it's 12 issues long, and you would have seen a 4-hour movie. But this movie came out before The Dark Knight Returns, and The Dark Knight Return was that was a Frank Miller graphic novel that people really digged, and they split that movie up into two. Mm-hmm. And I think if they really wanted to do this movie right and make it even more enjoyable for newcomers and fans, they should have split it up into two movies. But they were like, fucking Superman movie, let's throw it out there. Let's do it.
Another question is DC allergic to using different animation styles?
Yes.
Like, can they just actually, like, I would love to see a Superman in like a different animation style. I just keep thinking about that because like DC uses a very specific animation style for all their stuff, and I'm like, how cool would it be if you did something like, you know, Love, Death, Robots, where it's like every episode is a different animation style, you know,
Right.
like, and go through the Justice League and have like their stories of all of the Justice League
Right.
characters.
Superman and Harvey Birdman have the same chin still.
Yeah.
I call that the ass chin.
Yeah.
Tell you the truth, yeah, I've just noticed that, and you know what? This is what I really do appreciate for Marvel's What If right now. It took me a while to get used to that when we're on the third episode, but I enjoy it. It fits for what it's doing. But it would have been better if every storyline had a different animation, but that's probably too much money for them to spend.
The Star Wars spin-off thing is going to be like that.
I can't wait for it. It's
Me too.
the Japanese type. Hopefully that'll redeem. And so, I mean, it's not going to, I mean, it'll redeem some aspects of the franchise because I'm like, at least we're branching off into something different. Because my bitching towards the whole Star Wars franchise is like, I'm tired of the Skywalker family, and I do want to see some interesting shit. It's a fucking vast sea in a galaxy.
Damn it!
Come on, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
Galaxy.
And honestly, seeing like Star Wars in an anime style with like Bushidos and stuff, that looks dope. I can't wait.
Brings me back to the little Clone War bits they used to have Cartoon Network for like 5 minutes. That was dope. It had the Samurai Jack kind of art to it.
Yeah, I love that.
That one was like 6 seasons long too, wasn't it?
Oh, and that was Clone Wars. That was like 3D shit. But the short one was like accumulation of like an hour and a half of those little shorts that they did.
I don't think I saw that.
Yeah, Clone Wars was long. I didn't want to watch Clone Wars.
I definitely did not finish Clone Wars, the series, but it was long.
Yeah. I'll say this. Whoever's dealing with, I think whoever's dealing with the gaming aspect of DC shit, I think they're a little bit better than what the animation department and the movie department does, because I'm psyched for the Suicide Squad movie. I mean, not movie. Already seen that. The video game. That storyline looks pretty cool. I don't know if you guys seen the trailer of that game coming out, I think next year. It's basically it's called Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League. And Brainiac is controlling the Justice League, and they got to kill him. You got a bunch of misfits that can never match up to them, and it's like they got to find a way, which is pretty cool. And then the Arkham City series was great. And then you got the Injustice games. Really good storytelling. It's out of the box. It's different. It's really good shit.
Yeah.
I would love to see this for the movies. I would love to see this more for the animations. Do something new and different. Stop giving me these Ninja Turtles hanging out with Batman. I can tell you, I think the most unique one is, I think Batman goes back in time and he's in feudal Japan and he's taking on the Joker. And they do this really crazy animation for it. I haven't watched it, but that's the only one I can probably differentiate from everything else they've ever done.
Yeah, for sure. It would need, I think DC definitely needs to do some animation change-ups for sure.
No question. Oh yeah. Let's vote on that versus this episode. I mean, this movie, huh?
Interesting enough, just think about they've only done that shit with their kid shows. Batman, Brave and the Bold.
True. Teen
Titans, Young Justice to a point. Teen Titans Go.
Right, yeah, two totally different styles.
The Green Lantern TV show they had, and yeah, just a handful of shit, which all got canceled because they didn't sell enough toys.
Right, you can't hypnotize the kids to convince the parents. So yeah, I'm trying to think where in this movie to find it interesting again, but. I mean, for the most part, we get the gist of it. Superman was dying or is dying, and he teaches Lex a lesson. Do you think, because this is my biggest issue with this entire movie, right? The speed in which he catches cancer, because that's what he has. I'm guessing this is a year, 2 years, you know?
Who knows?
Right, because they don't tell us the timeline.
You can't.
But
could be a couple days.
No, it's more than a couple days because he was
Probably a
gone.
couple months, like
That
2
trip-
months or a
yeah.
couple months. Yeah.
I'd say 7-8 months because that trip he took was a month. You got to think the time frame of him and Lois, not Lois being superpowered, but him and Lois getting to know one another, all of that. So let's assume they had a little bit of time to get funky and plan life, you know. Lex is in prison, so he had to build a couple of apparatus, those kind of things. So I thought about that, and I'm like, we have to be somewhere near a year at least. But it doesn't seem like it's much longer than a year, maybe a year and a half. But in all of that time, so sorry, I have here in my notes that trip was 2 months. That trip that he took was 2 months. But so you have him leaving, him coming back, him crash landing because he's so tired and drawn out. Then he has to fight. What was it? Barrel and Lila, which was 10 minutes up and done. They're beating the dog hell out of him, and now they're poisoned by kryptonite because they went through a kryptonite field. Wouldn't they have been poisoned before you got back then, dude?
Another thing that would have been actually explained by the books.
Definitely would have been better explained. Then after getting rid of them, you get to the Lex situation, and I feel like we should have at least seen Lex sit down in the Oval Office at least.
Why?
He's so full of himself where he's busy trying to whip his ass.
Yeah, and he's just getting hit with the gravity gun, and his time is getting accelerated, which was smart. Again, that's where superior intellect comes into play. But again, let's rewind.
He gets it from his parents. His parents were, that's why they always said, well, your parents are weak. They're pushovers because they were scientists. And this is where like they draw shit from like Invincible and shit, because you had majority of the Kryptonians, they were scientists. Then you had the brutes. That's the only thing the warriors, the explorers. And that's the only thing I can say Zack Snyder's Man of Steel had correct, in my opinion. You know, you had whatever its name is, Zod, Conqueror's going out doing shit, and then you had
he was a general.
Yeah, and he had his parents.
Yeah, say what you want about Man of Steel. At least it was somewhat of an interesting Superman story. You know, just killed somebody. There you go. He did kill somebody in this movie too, though.
Yeah,
killed a few people. I thought Superman doesn't do that.
No, that's Batman.
I thought Superman also was like that as well. No, all right.
No, I don't believe that's ever been a Superman thing.
No, it's been a Superman thing.
Yeah,
he tries not to, but come on, he's throwing buses and buildings. Somebody dies somewhere.
Well, that's the thing in anything. And I'm like, you telling me all this collateral damage, no one's not fucking killed.
No, and that's why that Marvel show or that Marvel cleanup crew show, that should have been, that would have been one of the greatest shows ever.
It should have been a show. If they made it like The Office, that would have been hilarious.
It was supposed to be like that. I'm trying to remember. It was called something out. I was watching a little bit of Homecoming today, and they mentioned that quite a bit. I was like, yeah, that would have been good. And they might revisit that shit on Disney Plus, but
they need to. They should get the guy who plays Korg to narrate it.
Taika Waititi.
I don't know his name, but yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the director of Ragnarok.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Yeah, get him to run that because that would be great. I like his comedy style.
Mm-hmm.
I already know my 3 picks for next time I'm on. I'm gonna have you guys vote on them 3.
All right, sounds good.
I'm saying I paused immediately, like, okay, I'm giving them all 5s and lower. No joking.
Do we have anything else?
Yeah, I mean, after this, the only question I can ask, because it's not long, it's not really much substance to really look in this. It's just a superhero thing, and it branches off into other shit. You know, did this give you a somewhat of a different perspective on the Superman character?
Yeah, I mean, like, again, as I said, I'm most interested in Superman when he's pushing his abilities to the limit. Like, I like to see Superman maxing out everything. Yeah, being super, yeah. And so, like I don't necessarily like Clark Kent's character. I get it's like I know the Kill Bill 2 scene where Bill is talking about how Superman is Clark Kent is a caricature of what Superman thinks humans are. But like I agree and I understand that, but it's also like the juxtaposition is very jarring. I did like the story though, and like again, I don't think Superman is terrible. It's just like he needs to be written very particularly.
Yes.
And if he isn't written particularly, then he can be just stale, I think.
And it's a hard thing to do. I
Yeah.
mean, I've seen it so many times. It's a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
It's
I wouldn't want to be a Superman writer, that's for sure.
For sure.
Very
And
tough.
I will say I do like that one scene where he comes and he realizes Bar-El and Lilo, whatever the hell her name was. When they come and they were able to pick up and get into his fortress, I did think that was funny or good, simply because it's one of those moments where it's like, yeah, you might be the only person on this planet, but you're not the only person in the universe, so check yourself.
Yeah, I did like the key thing. That was
And
kind
then
of like
too,
a little mini Thor's hammer.
I'm like, dude, and Lex got in there in some shape or form. Like, how the hell did that happen? Come on, dude.
Bot 7.
I still trying
he
to
hack the robot.
I was like, yeah, he's smart, but not that smart.
Who, Lex?
No, well, both of them, Superman and Lex.
Yeah. Thank you. You get my point.
They balance each other out, basically. They're lovers.
Two idiots in a freaking pea pod.
It's an ego thing. Someone's trying to prove that one has good in him, and the other one is like, "Fuck you! I just want you dead."
They're like the kids from Talladega Nights that peed his pants and was sitting at the dinner table still wearing his pee pants. It's like you're smart enough to know how to piss everybody off, but you're not smart enough to know to take off your piss pants. All right.
Still haven't seen that movie.
What?
Don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
Don't you put that on me.
And I love me some Will Ferrell, just like I still haven't seen Semi-Pro.
What? You ain't seen Andre? Man, listen.
I got a list of shit.
I'm just gonna stop there. That's it. I'm just gonna stop. I love those movies. Those two movies I love. Like, I don't know why. Yeah, but for me, that's pretty much it. In rant for me, Superman is a character that I do like. I can't say I dislike Superman because I like the things that go on around Superman and what comes with Superman being around. I fully agree with what Lex has always said. Without Superman, you don't get all of the alien invaders and all of that kind of bullshit. But because of that, that's why I like Lex more than I like Superman, because it's like he's the one who's being actually observant. He's the one who's actually thinking it through. And that's why I think Batman is also a better character than Superman.
I'll tell you this.
Batman is close to being on Superman's level, though.
Right.
Of like being just OP for no reason.
1000%. 1000%. I just, the fact that he is noted as a regular human being puts him above Superman for me.
Right.
Because Superman has, like we said a little bit ago, it's almost like anything he needs, he can do to make it out of a situation.
Oh yeah, and he's immune to kryptonite in this too.
Oh yeah, and the Red Sun,
like, oh yeah, I guess I'm immune to kryptonite.
and that's,
Lois tries to kill him. Another good rat movie.
And that's the thing about Superman, which I think a lot of people can't relate or even like about this character, where you had a character like Superman and Batman from many years evolve over here. You coming into 2021, and you look at the history of that character, of its development. Batman has so much more development as a character and changing from what he was and what he was doing, and just the theme of him.
Batman has a family now. Just saying, a Bat family specifically.
You gotta read or watch Death of a Family or Death in a Family. You see how that goes.
Yeah. I know about that one. I haven't finished. I mean, I didn't start or finish it, but I know about that one. I think there's a movie adaptation of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Jason Todd, Red Hood thing. But in that sense, it's like you look at Superman, you don't see any real change in his character.
Yeah, because he's supposed to be like the epitome of all the good things that humanity is.
Right.
And which makes him boring, but it's also like necessary. This is the funny thing about Superman is like he's a necessary character because even though he's boring, he's what humanity strives to be,
And that's
which
the thing.
is like the best that we can be at all times.
And that's what I used to see in Captain America, but I'm like, at least somebody found a niche to change that up.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
Well,
That's what I saw in Black Panther.
yeah. So yeah.
But yeah, so and again, just to wrap up my last comments on this though, I simply dislike how accepting Superman is all the damn time. Like, could he have? Could he at least have gone crazy with the amount of excess power? Like, did he have to be humble the entire movie?
He killed that robot son. He killed his pet, man.
That's true.
That was still humble because he was defending and he was avenging his pet at that point.
But he went 8 ship crazy on that. And it's like, if you go play the Injustice games, he fucking he killed the Joker. Just took out his fucking heart. He's like, you took Lois away from me, you asshole. That was it.
That's the Superman I'm interested in.
That's the Superman we need to know.
And you know what? They are giving Injustice an animated movie. So we'll see how that goes. And we see the same thing kind of in the Zack Snyder cut shit. That's what they kind of, that whole future
at
saying.
the end. Yeah.
That's what they kind of drift off to.
Yeah, with the Joker's weird like scene where everything's moving and it's like all blurry.
But I'm glad you guys watched it. Not me.
Yeah. With the whole Superman acting out, let's also be honest about that. He'll be holding back even then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude can split the planet in half. Like, let's be real. But with all of that, that's kind of that's really my biggest issue is you're going to make this OP character and then continue to make him be humble and hold back and reserve power. And it kind of just becomes bullshit after a certain period of time. However, not dislikable, definitely one of those lesson teaching type of movies. Yeah, I just wish that either he or Lex had a gruesome cojones.
We are dangerously close to having our review be longer than the actual movie, so we should probably wrap it up.
Shame on us.
All right, you want to get the final reviews?
I will go first real quick.
Okay.
If I got to review it like that, I will give it a 6 out of 10. Just because it was a good concept. It was a good concept of everything around it. Could have been better, and I thought if they would have split the movie up into 2 parts and got every little nook and cranny things from the graphic novel into it, I thought it would have been a much better film. But 6 out of 10 because it was a good concept and it was decent and it gave me a different perspective on how to see Superman.
Okay. I like that. I'll go next. For me, it's going to have to be a 5 flat. 1-4 flat, because in all honesty, I really would have taken an extra hour and not even been bothered. Like, really, I could have done an extra hour of this movie just so they could flesh out some of the ideals a little more, give us more of what was going on the backside. What did Superman do while he was traveling through space for 2 months? He didn't just think about the abyss. You know what I mean?
You see the whole bizarro world and a couple other things. They just
a lot of things. I'm just sure there's a lot. And what was going on when Bar-El and Lila and what was Lex doing for that 2 months? There's a lot, because when he came back, a lot had changed. So because I do feel like there could have been a lot more given as far as the story, I'm gonna have to give it a 5. But I'm also gonna give it a 5 because I was very tempted to watch it like 3 times within the last 48 hours just to make sure I didn't miss anything. So clearly there is something intriguing about it that made me want to go back.
Read the book. That's all I'm gonna say. Everything you thought you missed, just read it.
I think that's what it is I want to read the source material.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I will give it a 5 as well. Didn't hate it. Didn't think it was terrible. Definitely could see this being longer, 2 movies, 3 movies, a series maybe. Would have been interesting. I liked it. I wish their animation style would change up someday. I would love to see a Superman or a Flash or a Batman that has different animations. That would be really cool. But it's better than The Little Things, and it's better than Paper Tigers. So I got to give it a 5. Yeah.
He just pooped on my last 2 movies.
Damn. Oh, fuck.
But he's not wrong.
But it's not. Those aren't your movies. Let's be fair.
Yeah. Those aren't my brain children.
No.
Oh, boy.
Those rode across my brain as far as hey.
That's right. Those were like random choices.
God damn.
Yeah. So yeah, 5 for me. 5 for me. Which gives us a 16 out of 30, which is a 5.3 out of 10.
My math is usually pretty close. I'm always like within like a 0.3 or a 0.2 of where we are.
Not bad.
I was thinking 5.2.
Yeah, 5.3333333 forever. So not terrible. Again, this puts us in our middle range. Funnily enough, I think we need to redo some of these. I don't know how Black Widow is a 6.5. Did we do that on purpose?
If you don't mind me asking, what was the score for everybody?
I don't know. I didn't tally that. That's probably a good question.
Where does this fall?
This is a 5.3, so it's under Black Widow. And
it's not our top 5 then.
It's not in our top 5. No.
It's what bottom. Like
it's in it's in the bottom. Yeah, the bottom 5 or 6. Yeah, probably the bottom 6 or 7 or so. We got, let's see, our power rankings right now still are Big Fish is 10 out of 10. Eternal Sunshine's 9.3 out of 10. Drive is 9 out of 10. There Will Be Blood 8.5. Suicide Squad 8.3. Guns Akimbo 8.3. Sonic 8.1. Then towards the bottom we have, let's see, The Little Things is at 2.8. Then we got Paper Tigers at a 4. We got Bulletproof is at a 3, and let's see, Eraser is at 4.5. So those are like the bottom.
I'm thinking based on those bottom ones we named. What was the one before Eraser?
Eraser. Then we had sorry, I lost it. Bulletproof. Yeah,
Bulletproof
that was
could have been rated higher.
Maybe. Yeah. Maybe it is better than The Little Things, but that's
like, it's mountains better than The Little Things.
Yeah, that's pretty much our low ball to kind of to point everything at this point.
Right,
The Little Things. So,
right.
God damn,
it sucks, man. It is what it is. But hey, I mean,
but it's fair.
Right. I might say we're trying to be as fair as possible. We're here to give ratings based on our opinion of the things that we have observed.
Oh, and just to end it off, I just decided to go through the Death Battle Wikipedia. Goku strength all the way up, Super Saiyan God, 160,000 tons strength. Superman, 6.6 quintillion tons. So that's just a fucking One Punch Man sock out.
They gonna tap out Goku way down there like that.
They doing it. They doing it, man.
So that means that everybody in the entire Dragon Ball universe is a moist paper towel compared to Superman.
Yes, sir.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but yeah, it's there.
yet Batman has taken a full punch. Yeah,
doesn't make any sense.
Anime / comic book logic.
Tell me again about Poseidon. I mean Aquaman.
I don't like Aquaman either, so I'm gonna leave that alone.
Hey, Aquaman is probably the funniest character in DC. I'm just gonna end with that. Dude's a dick, but he's hilarious.
Hey, I don't mind the blonde guy turning into the bro Samoan type guy.
Oh, I'm gonna talk about Jason Momoa when we get off of this.
Oh, with blonde tips. I'm sorry, with blonde tips. He has blonde tips.
I have a comment about that scar over his eye. Just Just as soon as we hit, and I'm joking.
That's not a scar. He just takes a bic and cuts that line down his eyebrow.
Who wants to take us out for them?
All right. Thank you guys so much for listening. We very much appreciate any time that you take to listen to our episodes. We hope you enjoyed this episode. I certainly did. We hope that you check out All-Star Superman. It is on HBO Max. Make sure you go check that out. And then watch this and then go check it out. Either way, doesn't really ruin anything for you.
Read it, people.
Read the 12 issue run. That would be even better. So thank you guys for tuning in with us this evening. If you want to check out what we do on our separate podcasts, Keelan's got a podcast called If Numbers Could Talk. It's on at 8 p.m. on Tuesdays. And he'll be coming up this Tuesday, right? 2 days? Yes, yeah. 2 days. Awesome. At 8 p.m. If Numbers Could Talk. He's got a Facebook page and a YouTube page. Go make sure you go give him a subscription. If Numbers Could Talk. Dijon the Mustard has a Twitch channel and a Facebook channel and a YouTube channel now called Strawberries and Coffee. And on Twitch, he streams Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 to 10:15 p.m. So be sure you check him out. If you can't make the live streams, then he puts them on YouTube, Strawberries and Coffee, the next day.
And I'm in a Spider-Man mood, so I'll be doing Marvel Spider-Man starting this Tuesday.
Nice. So be sure to check in his live stream, Strawberries and Coffee, on Twitch. I got a podcast called Exofathom. It's on at 8 p.m. on Mondays. Please feel free to give us a like and a subscription to our Facebook page and YouTube page, Exofathom. Thank you so much. But if you're a purist at heart and just want to hear us blabber on about movies and critique things for which we have no credentials to critique, we appreciate you so much. And thank you for taking this trip through the Screen Time Continuum with us. For Screen Time Continuum, I am Nick.
I am Keelan.
I'm the Mustard.
Nighty night.